He loved me in private, never in public. Xiao Zhan'S painful truth about Wang Yibo. The studio was silent. The lights were warm. The crew whispered as they adjusted their final camera angles, and Xiao Zhan sat in the middle of it all, still, quiet, and clearly carrying more than just stage presence. It was supposed to be a routine press interview. A chance to promote a new project and thank fans for their unwavering support. But what unfolded that day became the most heartbreaking confession in C-pop history. For the first time since the breakup that shattered millions of hearts, Xiao Zhan let his guard down completely, and what he revealed about Wang Yibo, the man he once called home, has left fans stunned, divided, and emotionally torn. I never needed the world to approve us. I just needed him to stand beside me. When the interviewer gently asked, "Is there anything you regret not saying?" Xiao Zhan paused. His eyes dropped to his hands. His voice, when it returned, was fragile. "I regret staying quiet when I should have walked away," he whispered. "I regret thinking love meant hiding." He took a long breath and looked straight into the camera. "He loved me in private, never in public." The words echoed in the studio. And moments later, they echoed across the world. Fans who had followed their journey from friendship to whispered romance, from fatherhood to heartbreak, suddenly understood the pain Xiao Zhan had been carrying all along. He continued. "We built a life that was beautiful in the shadows," he said. "But shadows don't keep you warm forever." The love story behind closed doors. Xiao Zhan painted a picture of a relationship full of deep love, tender moments, laughter behind the curtains, and a daughter who brought light into their world. But it was also a love built behind locked doors. "He told me he loved me every night," Xiao Zhan said. "But in the morning, we became roommates to the world. Colleagues. Just friends. No one was ever allowed to know what we meant to each other." He went quiet. You could see it in his eyes, not just pain, but memory. And underneath it, a sense of deep exhaustion. "I wasn't ashamed of him. But I think, maybe he was ashamed of loving me out loud." Fan reactions, from heartbreak to outrage. The internet exploded. Screenshots of Xiao Zhan's quote spread like wildfire. Within minutes, hashtags like #he loved me in private and #standbyzhan began trending. Millions of fans flooded platforms with emotional reactions, fan art, personal reflections, and heartbreak. You can't claim someone at midnight and erase them at noon. Wang Yibo loved him, but fear loved him more. They were each other's peace. But one of them stayed hidden. Others defended Wang Yibo, insisting he had always been a deeply private person, and that the pressures of the industry made openness impossible. But no matter the side, one truth became undeniable: this was not just a breakup. It was a breakdown of trust, of shared dreams, and of a love story that never got the light it deserved. A letter left unsent. Toward the end of the interview, the host gently asked if Xiao Zhan had ever written Wang Yibo something he never sent. He hesitated. Then, slowly, he reached into the inside pocket of his jacket and pulled out a folded paper, old, soft at the edges. "I wrote this the day he said we should keep things quiet for the sake of our image," he said. "I never gave it to him. I didn't want to seem ungrateful." He unfolded it and read aloud. "You say the world will never understand. But I don't need the world to hold my hand, I just need yours. And I need you to hold it where people can see." The room fell into silence. Tears rolled down his cheek. No one spoke. No one could. Silence from Wang Yibo. While Xiao Zhan's interview trended in over 60 countries, Wang Yibo remained silent. No tweets. No live streams. No press comments. A single post appeared on his fan club platform, an old photo of a dimly lit room, and the caption, "Some lights are meant to stay off. But it doesn't mean they weren't real." That one line sent fans into chaos again. Was it an apology? A confession? A quiet goodbye? Or worse, a confirmation that he never intended to share their love with the world? The daughter at the center of it all. Amidst all the pain and controversy, one person remained quietly in the middle of it all: their daughter. Xiao Zhan revealed in the interview that she had started asking more questions lately. "She asked why people look at us differently," he said softly. "She asked why I cry at night when she's asleep. He added that she once drew a picture of their family, and wrote, "I wish Daddy Yibo would come eat dinner with us again." The heartbreak wasn't just theirs anymore. It had begun to shape the childhood of someone innocent. "She deserves a love that doesn't hide," Xiao Zhan said, his voice cracking. "She deserves to see people who love each other, stand beside each other. I still love him. But I won't be invisible anymore." At the end of the interview, the host asked one final question. "Do you still love him?" Xiao Zhan didn't blink. Didn't flinch. "Yes. I still love him," he said. "But I won't be invisible for him anymore." He stood up. The crew stood too. The interview ended not with applause, but silence. And that silence was louder than any storm. What happens now? With fans torn, hearts broken, and the truth now in the open, the question remains. Will Wang Yibo finally step into the light? Or will Xiao Zhan's courage be met with more silence? Because in the end, this was never just about fame. Or fans. Or image. It was about a love story that deserved daylight, but was left wilting in the dark. And now, with the world watching, the truth has finally been spoken. But is it already too late? I never thought he'd tell the world Wang Yibo's private journal exposed as fans demand answers. It had only been 3 days since Xiao Zhan's painfully raw interview shattered the internet, but for the millions of fans who had loved, defended, and believed in the story of Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, those 3 days felt like a lifetime. For the first time, there were no rumors to guess through. No coded social media posts. No assistant leaks. Xiao Zhan had spoken with complete clarity. And in doing so, he cracked open a love story that had once been protected by silence. Now, fans were left in the echo of his words. He loved me in private. Never in public. But if the world expected Wang Yibo to disappear into the background again, to avoid the storm with his usual calculated silence, they were wrong. Because what came next was not a press statement, not a denial, not even a carefully written apology. It was a leaked journal entry, handwritten and heartbreaking, quietly passed to a fan page by someone claiming to be very close to Wang Yibo. And in it were words no one saw coming. "I wanted to love him in light. I just didn't know how." The entry, written in Chinese characters with smudges that fans believe were water stains, opened with a simple date, the night of Xiao Zhan's interview. The first line read, "I never thought he'd tell the world." What followed was a detailed, intimate confession not to the public, but to himself. "Every time he asked me if we could be open, I told him not yet. I said we needed more time. I said the world wouldn't understand. But what I really meant was I was scared. Scared of losing everything. My career. My image. My freedom. I told myself I was protecting him. But maybe I was only protecting myself." The journal entry went on to describe how deeply Wang Yibo had loved Xiao Zhan, how every moment they spent hiding behind hotel walls and dim corridors felt like heaven and prison at the same time. He wrote, "He made coffee in the mornings and always sang while brushing his teeth. He danced with our daughter in the kitchen and kissed my hand when he thought no one was looking. I saw forever in him. But I gave him fragments of it." And then came the line that silenced even his harshest critics. "He was never the one hiding. I was." Social media meltdown. We never knew the real Wang Yibo. The leak spread faster than anything else ever had. It was reposted in every language, quoted on every fan page, and dissected line by bloggers, journalists, and emotional fans. What made the entry even more devastating was the final page, which ended with a paragraph written after watching Xiao Zhan's interview. "He looked right into the camera like he was looking at me. I knew that gaze. I had seen it in bed, on rooftops, in dressing rooms. That gaze always meant please choose me. I didn't." And now he's asking the world why. The reactions were overwhelming. This isn't just an apology. It's a confession. And it's beautiful and horrible all at once. Why do I feel like we're reading the love letter he never gave? He loved him. But his fear was louder. The divide within the fandom began to shift. Suddenly, those who once viewed Wang Yibo as cold were beginning to understand the weight he carried. And those who blamed Xiao Zhan for the fallout were now seeing a man who simply wanted to be seen, not in secret, not in shadows, but in truth. Xiao Zhan responds, but not in the way anyone expected. Hours after the journal leak hit the internet, Xiao Zhan broke his silence. He didn't do another interview. He didn't post a statement. Instead, he posted a photo. It was a grainy, dimly lit shot of a small ceramic bowl, cracked down the side and glued back together. Inside the bowl was a note, folded perfectly. The caption read, "We were always breakable. But we never stopped being beautiful." Fans immediately connected the image to their shared past. Xiao Zhan was known for collecting handmade bowls during their travels, and he once gave Wang Yibo a similar one after a particularly emotional night in Japan. The meaning was clear. The message was gentle. And it lit another fire under fans everywhere. Were they on the verge of reconciling? Was Xiao Zhan leaving a door open? Or was this simply closure? The daughter who understood too much. While the adults poured their pain into cameras and paper, one quiet voice was finally heard. Their daughter, now 5 years old, had unknowingly contributed to the most emotional moment of the week. According to a close family source, she had drawn a new picture at school. In it, there were two figures holding hands in a garden. A little girl stood between them. All three were smiling. The caption underneath read, "My family. I miss when we were 3. The teacher, not fully understanding the situation, posted the artwork to a parent message group and somehow, it leaked online. Fans were crushed. She doesn't know about fame or fear. She just wants her family back. This is no longer about fan wars. This is about a child growing up in the wreckage of silence." That picture was shared more than 12 million times within 2 days. And it sparked something unexpected: empathy. Suddenly, the fandom stopped arguing. They started grieving. Together. Industry backlash, they were never allowed to win. As the world focused on the pain between Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, insiders began speaking up. One anonymous executive from a major studio revealed the kind of extreme pressure both men had faced behind the scenes. They were told they'd never work again if their relationship came out. Managers threatened lawsuits. Brands withdrew. Their love wasn't just hidden, it was crushed before it could breathe. This revelation began a new wave of online debate, but this time, the anger toward the stars. It was toward the system that caged them. They didn't fail each other. The industry failed them. How many other couples are hiding just to survive? Petitions were launched. Activists spoke out. Even celebrities began using their call for change. But amidst it all, one question remained unanswered. Would they ever find their way back to each other? The unexpected meeting, we didn't know they'd both be there. What no one expected was that the two men would show up, separately, at the same private charity gala just 1 week after everything unraveled. Security was tight. Media access was denied. But according to multiple inside witnesses, the moment they locked eyes from across the venue, everything stopped. They didn't speak at first, one guest revealed. But the room, it just held its breath. After nearly an hour of silence between them, a journalist who had previously interviewed them both saw Xiao Zhan slowly walk toward Wang Yibo. They spoke for 5 minutes. Just 5. But in that 5 minutes, witnesses described a conversation that felt like the final scene of a film no one wanted to end. No raised voices. No tears. Just two people remembering what it felt like to stand side by side, if only for a moment.